Hi, boys and girls. Mrs. Mills coming to you from the classroom. I want to share a story with you today, and the title of the story is called Thunder Cake. Okay. I chose this story to share with you today because this story helps us think more about what we've been learning in Reader's Workshop. When readers go on adventures, they can tune into the setting, the where and when a story takes place. Like in this picture, I can see that the where is outside in the woods and the when is at nighttime. I know it's night because of the moon, the stars, and it's dark. So I want to share a story with you today called Thunder Cake that's going to really help us think more about the setting and how sometimes authors change the setting or include certain details to help us be more part of the adventure. So in this story, Thunder Cake, I really want you to tune into the setting and how it might make the characters change their feelings or their actions. Okay, so I'm going to read Thunder Cake by Patricia Polacco. Okay, I'm going to do my best to show you these pictures. On sultry summer days, at my grandma's farm in Michigan, the air gets damp and heavy. Storm clouds drift low over the fields. Birds fly close to the ground. The clouds glow for an instant with a sharp, crackling light. And then a roaring low, tumbling sound of thunder makes the windows shudder in their panes. Wow, the author really used a lot of detail and words to help us understand and feel what's happening in that story. I'm already knowing that, I know the where. We're on a farm. And when, it's during the day, but in the summertime, on sultry summer days at my grandma's farm. We already learned most of the setting right at the beginning. The sound used to scare me when I was little. I loved to go to Grandma's house. Babshki, as I used to call my grandma, had come from Russia years before. But I feared Michigan's summer storms. I feared the sound of thunder more than anything. I always hid under the bed when the storm moved near the farmhouse. This is the story of how my grandma, my Babshki, helped me overcome my fear of thunderstorms. I'm also thinking this story is like a personal narrative, a story all about, like she just said, overcoming her fear of thunderstorms. Ooh. Grandma looked at the horizon, drew a deep breath, and said, "This is Thunder Cake baking weather. All right. Looks like a storm's coming to me." Thunder Cake? I've never heard of Thunder Cake. I wonder what her babshki's going to bake. "Child, you come out from under that bed. It's only thunder you're hearing," my grandma said. The air was hot, heavy, and damp. A loud clap of thunder shook the house, rattled the windows, and made me grab her close. "Steady, child," she cooed. "Unless you let go of me, we won't be able to make a thunder cake today." "Thunder cake?" I stammered as I hugged her even closer. "Don't pay attention to that old thunder, except to see how close the storm is getting. When you see the lightning, start counting real slow. When you hear the thunder, stop counting. That number is how many miles away the storm is. Understand?" she asked. "We need to know how far away the storm is so we have time to make the cake and get it into the oven before the storm comes, or it won't be real thunder cake." I'm really getting a feel for how she's feeling based on the details the author is including with the thunder. Her eyes surveyed the black clouds away off in the distance. Then she strode into the kitchen. Her worn hands pulled a thick book from the shelf above the wood stove. "Let's find that recipe, child," she crowed as she lovingly fingered the grease-stained pages to a creased spot. "Here it is, Thunder Cake." She carefully penned the ingredients on a piece of notepaper. "Now let's gather all the things we need," she exclaimed as she scurried toward the back door. What do you think they're going to get for their cake? What do we need for cakes? We were by the barn door when a huge bolt of lightning flashed. I started counting like Grandma told me to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then the thunder roared. 10 miles. It's 10 miles away, Grandma said as she looked at the sky. About an hour away, I'd say. You'll have to hurry, child. Gather them eggs careful like, she said. Eggs from mean old Nellie Peckhen. I was scared. I knew she would try to peck me. I'm here. She won't hurt you. Just get them eggs, Grandma said softly. The lightning flashed again. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I counted 9 miles. Grandma reminded me. The storm is getting closer. Milk was next. Milk from old Kick Cow. As Grandma milked her, Kick Cow turned and looked mean right at me. I was scared. She looked so big. Zip! The lightning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I counted. Vroom went the thunder. 8 miles, child, Grandma croaked. Now we have to get chocolate and sugar and flour from the dry shed. She's still kind of looking scared. And based on what's going on in the story, I'm really getting a feel for how she's feeling. I was scared as we walked down the path from the farmhouse through Tangleweed Woods to the dry shed. Suddenly, the lightning slit the sky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I counted. Boom, ba-boom, crashed the thunder. It scared me a lot, but I kept walking with Grandma. Another jagged edge of lightning flashed as I crept into the dry shed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I counted. Crackle, crackle, boom, kaboom, the thunder bellowed. It was dark and I was scared. I'm here, child, Grandma said softly from the doorway. Hurry now, we haven't got much time. We've got everything but the secret ingredient. I wonder what the secret ingredient is. 3 overripe tomatoes and some strawberries. I've never had tomatoes in a cake, Grandma whispered as she squinted at the list. I climbed up high on the trellis. The ground looked a long way down. I was scared. I'm here, child, she said. Her voice was steady and soft. You won't fall. I reached 3 luscious tomatoes while she picked strawberries. Lightning again. I counted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kabang! Ba-boom! The thunder growled. We hurried back to the house in the warm kitchen and we measured the ingredients. I poured them into the mixing bowl while Grandma mixed. I churned butter for the frosting and melted chocolate. Finally, we poured the batter into the cake pans and put them into the oven together. Lightning lit the kitchen. I only counted to 3 and the thunder proomed and crashed. 3 miles away, Grandma said, and the cake is in the oven. We made it. We'll have a real thunder cake. As we waited for the cake, Grandma looked out the window for a long time. Why, you aren't afraid of thunder. You are too brave, she said as she looked right at me. I am not brave. Grandma, I said, I was under the bed, remember? But you got out from under it, she answered, and you got eggs from mean old Nellie Peckhen. You got milk from old Kick Cow and went through Tangleweed Woods to the dry shed. You climbed the trellis in the barnyard. From where I sit, only a very brave person could have done all them things. I thought and thought as the storm rumbled closer. She was right. I was brave. Brave people can't be afraid of a sound, child, she said, as we spread out the tablecloth and set the table. When we were done, we hurried into the kitchen to take the cake out of the oven. After the cake had cooled, we frosted it. Just then, the lightning flashed, And this time it lit the whole sky even before the last flash had faded. The thunder rolled, boomed, crashed, and roared just above us. The storm was here. Perfect, Grandma cooed. Just perfect. She beamed as she added the last strawberry to the glistening chocolate frosting on top of our thunder cake. I'm thinking that thunder cake is just cake that you make when it thunders out. As rain poured down on our roof, Grandma cut a wedge for each of us. She poured us steaming cups of tea from the samovar. Then when the thunder roared above us so hard it shook the windows and rattled the dishes in the cupboards. We just smiled and ate our thunder cake. From that time on, I never feared the voice of thunder again. Look at the setting now. The end. And in the back of the book is the recipe for my grandma's thunder cake. I really enjoy reading this story because it really helps me think about how important the setting really is, how we need to include details to help our stories and adventures come more alive. As writers, we can do that. And as readers, we can tune into the setting to help us be on that adventure. I want you to go on Raz Kids or Get Epic, and I want you to read a book or listen to a book, and I want you to really tune into the setting. When you're done, I want you to add your response on Seesaw, tell me the title of your book that you read, and tell me about the setting, the where and the when the story takes place.